Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we are strapping into what you might call the spiritual fast lane.
We are indeed.
We're diving into the Six Yogas of Naropa. It's often seen as, well, the pinnacle system for accelerated enlightenment in Tibetan Vajrayana Buddhism.
Right. And the mission here, I mean, it's huge. We're looking at a really complete, integrated system. It's designed to transform basically every state of existence you can think of. Waking, dreaming, sleeping, even dying. The goal is, well, full realization in one lifetime.
That's incredibly ambitious. So let's unpack the history a bit first. Naropa, around the 11th century, he gets the main credit, but it sounds like he was more of a master synthesizer.
Exactly, yeah. A synthesizer or maybe a curator. The actual high-level practices, what they call Anuttara Yoga Tantra, they were pretty scattered initially. Naropa's own teacher, Tilopa, he gathered them through these 4 distinct transmissions, these lineages. But Naropa's real genius was, systematizing these really potent, quite esoteric methods. He turned them into a progressive, teachable curriculum. That's what we study today.
Okay, let's get into the nuts and bolts then, because this isn't just philosophy, is it? It's like a technology, an operative schema based on internal energy. What's the core mechanism we need to grasp?
It all comes down to the subtle body. You have to think of it as your inner energetic anatomy.
Okay.
It's made up of 3 key things: channels, the nadis, which are like pathways, then winds, prana or lung in Tibetan, that's the energy current itself, and essences or bindus, this sort of subtle material components.
So if the conceptual mind, that constant voice in your head, if that's the main barrier, what's fueling it? Is it just brain activity?
In this system, it's the lung, the winds, but think of these winds less like breath and more mental energy. The energy carrying our thoughts, our patterns, our karma, attachments.
The mental chatter?
Precisely. And these karmic winds, they primarily flow through the 2 side channels flanking the main one. So the whole point, the core purpose of these yogas is to pull those winds out of the side channels and dissolve them into the central channel, the avatuti.
And by doing that, you essentially cut off the fuel supply to the conceptual mind.
You got it. The thinking just stops naturally. And that's the space where non-conceptual wisdom, genuine insight can actually arise.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's talk about the engine that drives this whole process. Tummo, inner heat. I've heard it called the powerhouse of the path.
Oh, absolutely. Marpa, Naropa's student, called it the life tree. Some sources say it's like 90% of the work. It really is foundational.
Wow. So how does it work?
It's quite sophisticated. It's a blend of intense visualization. You focus on a fiery short AH syllable, usually visualized at the navel chakra, and a specific breathing technique called vase breathing or kumbhaka. This isn't just gentle breathing. It's forceful, rhythmic.
And the goal of that breathing?
It forcefully unites the winds that are normally scattered in the upper and lower body, and it drives them, slams them right into that central channel.
And the result is inner heat.
Yes, but much more. The heat generated isn't just warmth. It rises up the central channel and melts the subtle essence, the white bindu, which resides at the crown chakra.
Right.
As this melted essence, this nectar, descends down the central channel, it triggers a powerful psychophysical experience known as the 4 joys.
4 joys.
Yeah, a cascade of increasingly intense states of bliss. The texts describe the culmination as 100 times more intense than ordinary orgasm, just profound bliss.
Incredible. But that bliss isn't the end goal itself.
Exactly. The bliss is crucial because it generates a supremely stable, clear, and non-conceptual state of mind. That blissful, focused mind becomes the perfect tool, the ultimate vehicle for realizing emptiness directly.
And this isn't just subjective feeling. There's actual physical evidence.
There is. Documented cases exist of advanced practitioners consciously raising their core body temperature significantly, sometimes up to 38.3 Celsius. It demonstrates real control over these subtle internal psychophysical processes.
Okay, so Tummo provides the power, the blissful, clear mind. But what is that mind ultimately perceiving? That brings us to Ösel, right? Clear light or luminosity?
Yes, Ösel. This is considered the most fundamental nature of consciousness itself, the ground state.
To REM state.
It's the mind you actually experience, albeit unconsciously, during deep, dreamless sleep, or if you faint, and crucially, at the very moment of death.
So the yoga is about making that unconscious experience conscious. How on earth do you train for that? It sounds like training to be aware while you're blacking out.
Kind of. It involves training awareness during meditation to recognize the subtle, progressive stages as your ordinary consciousness dissolves.
What are those stages?
They talk about the 3 visions. First, a white appearance like moonlight in an empty sky, then a red increase like sunlight, then a black near attainment like total darkness. These signify the coarser mental functions shutting down. The yoga trains you to stay lucid through that process to maintain awareness right through the blackness, so you can consciously recognize the clear light, the fundamental luminosity that dawns immediately after.
Wow. Okay, so you've mastered Tummo, you can recognize clear light. Now, how do you apply this when it really counts at death? Let's talk about Bardo yoga.
Right, the Bardo yoga. This is about navigating the intermediate state, the Bardo, that period after death, traditionally said to last up to 49 days.
And it relies on the previous practices.
Heavily, especially the skills from Illusory Body yoga, recognizing phenomena as dreamlike, and the clear light training. The goal is straightforward. Conceptually, at least.
Which is?
To recognize all the appearances that arise after death, which can be peaceful or incredibly terrifying. To recognize them as nothing more than the display of your own mind, your own projections.
If you can do that.
If you recognize them as such, you aren't swept away by fear or attachment. You realize their empty nature, and you can achieve liberation right there within the Bardo itself.
But what if you're not sure you can manage that? Is there like a backup plan? An insurance policy?
There is. That's Phowa, or consciousness transference. It's considered a more direct ejection method.
Ejection.
Yeah. Instead of navigating the whole Bardo experience, Phowa aims to bypass it completely. The technique involves blocking the lower 9 orifices of the body, and then using powerful visualization and sound, specific syllables like PHE, to literally eject your consciousness, your subtle mind, straight out through the crown of your head.
And where does it go?
The aim is to transfer it directly to a pure land, a Buddha field, like Sukhavati, Amitabha's pure realm. From there, enlightenment is practically assured, bypassing the dangers of further rebirths or the Bardo.
Okay, that sounds potent, but extremely advanced. Brings us to a crucial point. Prerequisites. This isn't something you just pick up from a book, right?
Absolutely not. These are extremely advanced, high-stakes practices. The requirements are strict and non-negotiable. First, you absolutely need the guidance of a qualified, experienced guru. Indispensable. Second, you need the formal empowerment, the initiation into highest yoga tantra. That transmission is vital. And third, you need a really stable foundation in the common Mahayana path.
What does that mean, practically?
It means having genuinely cultivated, not just intellectually understood, but realized renunciation, the deep wish to be free from cyclic existence. Bodhicitta, the compassionate aspiration to attain enlightenment for all beings, and a correct understanding, a stable view of emptiness.
And without that foundation.
Without that ethical and philosophical grounding, the sheer power generated by practices like Tummo could be misused, become destructive, or worse, lead you deeper into delusion or Edo inflation. It's serious business.
Okay, so wrapping this up then, what's the big takeaway for someone listening?
I think the main thing is seeing the 6 yogas as this incredibly cohesive 24-hour curriculum. It aims to leave no part of your experience outside the path.
Right. It integrates everything.
Everything. Waking, sleeping, dreaming, and even the process of dying itself become opportunities for practice, for transformation. It's a comprehensive map for the entire human journey.
And it really highlights the Vajrayana's claim of acceleration.
Exactly. If the Sutrayana path, the more gradual path, is sometimes said to take, 3 countless great eons to reach Buddhahood, well, this Vajrayana system, the 6 yogas, is presented as the truly accelerated path, the flying path, you might say, to the very same destination. It's about achieving it right here, right now, in this very lifetime.